Hello, the internet. Welcome to the Revolver Fan First podcast, where we go deep into artists' fan world because all artists were fans first. Today, we have guitar legend John 5, who has been a fan since he was playing guitar at 5 years old. 5 years old?
Yeah, 5, and I started taking lessons at 7.
Yeah, so you're small. One thing on that. Now, your fandom extended. Can you tell us about your hand? What happened to your hand as a kid?
So when I was little, I was so obsessed with playing the guitar. I was like and my hands were really small, but I had to play. I had to play. It's like if you were a basketball player, but you were really short and all that stuff. And you just still loved it, loved it, loved it. So I would play so much when I was a kid and trying to get those chords and making it sound right. So you think your fingers stretch, but it's not your fingers. It's actually this part of your hand, the palm. And so when I was growing, that part of my hand grew larger than my other hand. So this hand is oddly, strangely, a lot bigger than my other hand. So my left hand is much larger than my right, just from stretching it.
That's amazing. I wonder if other shredders share this experience or if it's a unique thing for you. Like, it's
I don't know. I guess I should ask some of my friends.
Yeah. You've probably got, you've evolved. So before we get deep into child to now, can you walk us through this room, which is sort of a tribute to your fandom?
When I was a kid, there's things that are comforting to you when you're a kid, and Kiss was one of those things. It made me want to play guitar. It made me really get into music, and it's what I loved when I was a kid. So maybe like when I was in my 20s, I started collecting all the merchandise and all that stuff, but I only collect from 1973 to 1983, and it's a really fun hobby because when I'm on the road, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I have, a wife, so you can only play so much guitar. And so I go out looking for these things, and they're treasures because they're so hard to get now. I mean, it's next to impossible. So it's such a fun hobby, and I've been doing it for decades. So
awesome.
It's been wonderful. And I have this Instagram page called Knights in Satan's Service, which they used to think that stood for Kiss. And I started it 3.5 years ago, and I posted a piece of merchandise every day for 3.5 years. And I never missed one day, and I never repeated a piece of merchandise. So it's that much stuff, and I'm not done yet.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that you chose that era. Does that coincide with it? Does what Kiss was in that era play into this? Because I know Kiss must be a big part of your collection, like the 73 to 83 period.
Yeah, because they took their makeup off in mid 83. So I had to stop, somewhere. So I stopped after 1983.
Peter Criss just played on your solo album.
Yeah, Peter Criss just played on my record. And I'm friends with all the guys, and luckily it's just a dream. I never would have thought that they'd be my friends. And but when the guys come over to the house, the Kiss guys, or if any of the members come over, I won't let them come in here because they're probably like, what is going on, because there's so much stuff in here.
How old were you when you went to your first Kiss concert?
Well, the first time I was very sheltered, when I was a kid. So I didn't get the chance to see them when they first had their makeup on. So, but the first time I saw like them in a store was June 1977. And I was so young, and it just it was so burnt something in my mind that I'll never forget. And I remember asking for the record. My parents were super cool, and they got it for me, and it just changed my life forever. It really did. And it is such a fine time in our lives. We wear t-shirts of when our comforting time was. So like I'll wear Kiss shirts, or I'll wear like Black Sabbath shirts or something like that, because that was like the time when it was so comfortable, like my wife really likes wearing shirts and stuff from the 90s and things like that. So it's all means something in your head.
Yeah, there's warmth in that. Like I mean, there isn't anything more emotional. I read this great quote. The guitar is a small orchestra. It's polyphonic. Every string is a different color and a different voice. And that's Andres Segovia, I think, that classical.
Yes, yes,
I'm like, I love
yes,
that. Like, did it feel like an emotional tool when you're a kid? Like, did you get a lot of your like feelings out through it, or is that you were a kid? So I don't know whether that's
yeah. I mean, even at the age I am now, I play very, 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 very complicated stuff because it occupies my brain. It makes me not go crazy. It really, because like when I'm not playing, I'm like cleaning or I'm doing something very OCD. So that's why I do play very technical stuff, because it it's kind of occupies my brain so I don't go yelling at traffic, you know?
Did you know how much practice it would take to get here
Um,
when you started? Like, did you have
I,
a strong work ethic from your parents, or did you look at these artists, or what kind of gave you
I
the work ethic?
I don't really look at it as practice or work or anything. It's a joy. If I could play, you know, 12, 13 hours a day, I would easily,
That's
easily. I would totally do it, but then life gets in the way, damn life. But
want to play guitar.
but yeah, I want to play guitar. But I would totally be fine with that.
Yeah.
Like absolutely no problem whatsoever.
Well, just quickly, because I think we should walk around this room. Who are your favorite bass players and drummers? Like, who have been like the rhythm sections that like changed the way you played and really got inside your head? I mean, I know you've been with Rob for 15 years or whatever, but I'm curious over your life. Yeah.
I love I always really appreciated anyone who is crazy great at their craft. It could be a guy just on a unicycle or anything. If anyone's really great at their craft, I so appreciated that. And bass players and drummers, I listen to like, Steely Dan, or I listen to like the Aristocrats or anything like that. Go, wow, like this is so good. This is so amazing. Or like Joey, Slipknot Joey Jordison, who
Yeah.
we just lost. He was so great. He was so incredible, and I got a chance to be in the band with him with Zombie. We had him in there for a while, and he was just incredible. Les Claypool bass,
Totally.
anybody that's over crazy great at their craft, I love.
Was Joey a big fan? Was he a fan on your level of fandom? I'm like,
Oh, of
yeah,
course.
yeah. What was
Of course.
the bands he got into? What was he obsessed with? I'm just curious. I
He,
think, yeah.
same thing that anybody, our age, like Van Halen, Kiss,
Yeah.
loved Motley Crue, all that stuff. He was so into it for shows. I
Yeah.
think they were Slipknot shows. They would do this thing called 80s Kiss, and they would dress up, but they would only play 80s Kiss. And it was like hilarious. And they'd go out on stage and play. And it doesn't matter if you're Paul McCartney or you're Mick Jagger, you're a fan because they are fans of someone else. And that someone else is a fan as well.
Yeah.
It all because it's what they do. If they were a chef or something like that, and didn't get into music, they would be fans of another kind of chef or something like that. Everybody that does something looks up to somebody.
Yeah.
Guaranteed 100%.
Do you have any like hardcore mentors, like people who, you really look to, like were in your realm, not even just like looking up, like someone who you've spent a lot of time with, and like physically played with or something like that?
Yes, of course. During like with business
Hmm.
and things that I don't know that really, really well, I always listen. Like Zombie, I'll always listen to like what he's talking about, like if he's having a meeting or something like that, like talking about a tour or an album or a movie. I love being a fly on the wall because you'll never get that in any book. You'll never get that. You can't learn those things. And just being a fly on the wall is the best way to get that information.
What do you guys have in common and what's different, you and Rob? What do you love most and what do you diverge on? Is there anything that he loves and you're like, dude?
We have so much in common. It's strange. We have so much in common. The same music we love, the same movies we love. We have the same personality. He's very inspiring. He's like one of the smartest people I've ever worked with. He's just
awesome.
His drive is on another level. Like, I have a lot of drive. I don't have a manager. I do everything myself, but his drive makes me look like a lazy person. I'm not exaggerating. His drive is unbelievable. He gets up before anybody and he's the last to go to bed and he's always working. It's unbelievable.
That's beautiful. Like that must be a very like stimulating, especially someone who has such an active mind as you, to see that level of activity and that level of engagement. I mean, it's like it's a quest for immortality on some level. Like you're leaving a lot behind.
Yeah, he's changed my life completely in such a positive way. And it's, birds of a feather.
Yeah.
And I always thought that's why your mom or your, sisters or brothers are always like, I don't know if you want to hang out with those people, they're not a good influence. And it's true. You want to hang out with someone that's a good influence. Rob has definitely influenced my life in such a great way.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm really pleased for you guys. Like that's, great. It's wonderful. Now let's walk around your room. Let's walk around your Kiss room. Let's get a little, let's have a collector's.
Okay. So these are all puzzles, and everything here is from the 70s, and I'll just try to narrate as we go.
Yep.
Now, see these party hats. These are from New Year's Eve, 1975, and getting all these colors of the hats were crazy and really hard to do. This is like a luggage tag. This is the confetti from 1978. 1976. The sponge would fall from the ceiling. The Dynasty tour out of a disco ball. Yes, these are invitations. These are invitations to events from the 70s. These are promotional items. Now, this little amp here, I got this in a antique store, and they do not make them. They were shocking kids, so they took them off the market, and I got it for like, probably $20, but it's worth like 7,000. So that's my biggest score. These are all buttons. Now, if you see these ones with all the colors, you see those?
Yep.
Ones. So those were the backstage passes they used in 75.
Wow.
They didn't use stickies. They just used pins like that.
You're right.
These are all from Australia. Now, these are the dolls that people are probably familiar with, but if you can see that, those are from Montreal, so they're in French.
Of course.
And yes, then these are reel-to-reels. I don't know if anybody knows what reel-to-reels are, but in the 70s, that's how we listen to music. There was no Apple Music, so you would put on these reel-to-reels, and it was very complicated to do. These are the bubblegum cards. These are the shipping boxes.
Wow.
And all the series. Chew bops were something. These were little pieces of gum, and those are the ones from Japan. And those are, you can see these boxes. One of those are from Argentina. Pretty impossible to find. Halloween costumes. This is a shipping box for the Halloween costumes, and all the Halloween costumes here in all the different sizes. So small, medium, and large.
Of course.
Yes. These are bags from Australia, like backpacks, and then sports bags from 1980. This is pretty interesting. All the jewelry and the also the Viewmasters.
Yep.
And so all this jewelry, which is, it looks crappy, but it's worth a fortune. This is really cool. See the talent booking. This is where you could open this book and find like Black Sabbath or Kenny Loggins or anybody there, contact them for a tour. And that's how you would do that back in the day. This is a script to Kiss Meets the Phantom. All the picks, keychains, 8 tracks. Now these shorts are from Australia. They're pretty much impossible to find. These boxes here are full of cassettes, and those you could order from J.C. Penney.
Yep.
And this is the box, and for the records you also ordered from J.C. Penney. This, I'm running out of breath. This is Ace's outfit from Dynasty, and it looks so small, but it's spandex. So this is his cape and his little all that stuff, but this is his boots, and you could see how worn they are. Yeah. 1979. Let's see, these are the makeup kits, and they're all sealed. You would get these cups in a place called Magic Market. So those cups, that's a whole series of them. These now are called Scream Machines. You only got these at the Love Gun tour, and you pop out the bottom and you would scream into them. And very tough to get those, the colors and all that stuff. Frisbee with, let's see who's on here. July 31st, which just happened. Kiss, Uriah Heep, Ted Nugent, and Bob Seger.
Wow.
These are remote control vans and a model van. Now here's where we start getting into some crazy stuff. This is Ace's neck piece from the Elder. And this is Ace's belt that his mom made for him in 1973. And he wore that the first couple of Kiss shows.
Whoa.
Yeah, rulers, belts. Now this right here is Paul Stanley's belt from 1974. He wore on the cover of Hotter Than Hell.
Yep.
And some early posters, ads. This is Peter's outfit from Dynasty and the Cattails, 1979. This is probably the best part of the whole collection. Now, this is Gene's outfit from 1974. They only had one. Yeah. So and then here's him wearing it. And he wore this for tons of shows.
Amazing. Wow.
These masks here were only produced at one concert in 1975, and it was almost impossible to get all 4 of these. Now this right here, that was worn on the cover of Alive, and he put that on his hand, and it's like this spike thing. You've seen it a zillion time in any.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, so lunch boxes, thermoses, notebooks, tons of notebooks, the pens, the pencils, the record player, socks, the Kiss radio, even with the shipping box. And like, if you ordered it off the, like you would have to write in, and that's the little shipping box that came in. Kiss typing paper, which is really odd. A pencil set. Now, again, all of this stuff is 70s and early 80s, so it's impossible to get, except for one item, and it's that Gene Simmons Coke bottle. That's the only new thing I have in the whole collection. Bedspread, drapes, sleeping bags, drumsticks. These are all tour books.
Wow.
And they're all variations. The Kiss Army. Now this is, okay, you've heard of the Kiss Army, right?
Of course. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this was the Kiss Army kits. If you join the fan club and you would, you want to join the Kiss Army, and the Kiss Army started and it's went on for decades and decades. The story is, and I'll try to keep it really quick, but these two guys started this, they wanted to hear Kiss at the radio station, but the radio station wouldn't play it. So they said, well, we're gonna, go crazy outside of your station until you play Kiss. And so they made this banner here.
Oh my God.
In 1975.
Amazing.
And this is before the Kiss Army even existed. Okay. Nobody even know what, they just made up this name, Kiss Army, and they made this from a bedspread in early 1975. And Kiss heard about this and they said, we'll come down to the station. And this is how the Kiss Army was born. And right from this bedspread right here. And they all signed it in 1975. And this is like the Betsy Ross, this is like the flag of everything. So that's where that came from. These are all press kits. Like,
Incredible.
like this new band Kiss, check them out and stuff. This is a fire helmet that he would wear.
You clearly needed.
Yes. And then hats from all over. And then these are their touring bags. This is Peter's bag from 76. This is from 79. And these were their bags and stuff, which was really cool. These are all belt buckles. So,
wow.
So pretty ridiculous. And then these are all tickets from Kiss Meets a Phantom and passes. And then so Gene would do a lot of the promo stuff. So he would draw, he's a great artist. He drew this for the on tour game. So so that's pretty good. These are the trash cans. And this is the trash can before it was rolled. So this is it flat. And then and that's how they would look after. And that's how they looked before. Yes. And poster art sets, some of these cool things from Australia, these like plaques.
Yeah, right.
These are all toy guitars, very tough to get. This was on the cover, the outside the front of a record store in 1978 when they were doing the solo albums. And this thing weighs a couple 100 pounds and pretty cool. Now this is interesting. This is all clothes, all different t-shirts, all different tour jackets, and everything. It would take hours to go through all that stuff. This whole case is from Australia. These are from Australia too. And then these are all keychains. Let me lift this up. So all keychains. And let's see, where are we going now? These are all posters. So it's really hard to display posters.
Yeah.
So I kind of did them where you could just flip through them. And there's,
like a poster store.
There's a shit ton of them.
Yeah.
These are all mirrors. And it's really cool because I did it kind of the same way. Yeah. So you could flip through them, but they're all mirrors,
Amazing.
So, and there's just a ton of them. More posters. This is a magazine rack.
Yeah.
And sheet music and all that stuff. Let's see, the magazine rack goes for forever. And let's see, all records from all over the world. New Zealand, South Africa, El Salvador, Japan. Let's see, these are all tour scarves. This tour book they only used for one show, so because they thought the cover looked terrible, so that one's a tough one to get. These are all store displays. what that you see on this wall. Of course, pinball machine.
Obviously.
Yes, there is a regular one with the regular Kiss S's, and then there's a German one with regular S's. So a lot of stuff, and it just keeps going and going and going.
Wow. So some
Yeah,
people just party on tour, and you've amassed the most incredible collection of Kiss you've got to have the best collection.
it's one of the best. So
Yeah.
and I do it for, it's just fun. It's a fun hobby, and I like to put things up and educate, because
Yeah.
who knew there were, stamps from Argentina or something like that. So it's a fun hobby,
Yeah.
and it keeps me from going crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's important. Well, okay, just briefly, because we do need to cover Kiss, because this is fairly significant. What do you think each of the players in that era, in that lineup, each of them, what did they do differently to anyone else? Because this is something very special that's a lifelong passion. What do you think each of them did differently?
I'm not sure I understand the
Okay.
question.
What do you think was so special about each of them? Or is it
Well,
the combination?
yes, no, there is, each member, of course, had you always had your favorite, but of course I loved them all.
Yeah.
But it started, of course, with the music. You loved the music, and then that imagery, they just had, to me,
Yeah.
they just had everything. And along with millions and millions and millions of other people around the world, it's the same story. It starts with the music, and then that imagery and all the merchandise and everything. It was just so much fun,
Yeah.
and that's what it's about, and you could do this with your friends and talk about Kiss with your friends. And I'm still doing the same thing that I did when I was 10 years old. And there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that, and it's with this crazy world right now that we're living in. It's really a wonderful escape, if you will.
Definitely. I think it's needed. Well, what was your pre-show ritual like when you were a kid? Like you were playing in bands, I think like Vampirella, Dirty Tricks and stuff. Did you start wearing makeup? Like were you wearing makeup and the whole thing? Did you plan this out, like your whole persona? And yeah, what did it look like? What did the first iteration of John 5 look like?
Yeah, I was always wearing makeup, like I was in the band like when I was so young, and I went to a very preppy type school. So I would wear like, bow ties and really nice clothes, but I could play. And
Yeah.
there were these guys from the wrong side of the track. They had long black hair down to their waist, but I could play all of their songs, and they were all like 25, and I was like probably, you know, 15 or something, and I looked so proper. So they would put a black wig on me so I could go play at these shows, because I was this little kid and I
Yeah.
was too young to get into these bars. So they would put this like black wig on me and I would perform. I have funny pictures,
That's hilarious.
and just so I could look like the other guys. Yeah. But I always thought, like playing these places, it was all experience.
Yeah.
And you can hit the punching bag for years and years and years, but you sometimes got to get in the ring. And that's how I was with doing, shows. I just played so many shows when I was a little kid, and it was very important.
Yeah. Well, it seems like that, like the playing is at the center of it. Like you weren't seeking the idolatry as much as just seeking the chance to do the work, or not the work, do the joy, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, I never worked a day in my life. It was all about playing guitar, and I just loved it so much, and I still love it so much, where
Yeah.
if I have to do things, with my wife, and we have things we have to do during the day, I'll wait till she goes to sleep and I'll just stay up, play guitar until
Yeah.
the, early hours of the morning.
What was it like playing with people like Rob Halford early in your session as a session player and stuff? Because it's interesting, you have so much character in what you do, yet you have been able to integrate into these worlds. Like, how do you kind of balance that? I don't know if that makes
Well,
sense. question. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. Like I was such a fan of Halford and Skinnerd and Rod Stewart and Motley Crue and all these bands, just like anybody else growing up listening to. And so whenever I have to go play with these guys still to this day, like, I'm like so appreciative
Yeah.
of what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm really, really, I appreciate everything, and I still can't believe it. That I have a song with this artist or that artist, or Meatloaf or Scorpions or anything like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane. So I never take it for granted, and I'm just so appreciative every day.
Well, okay, so like the whole concept of John 5, like you got that moniker when you were in the Manson era, and you had, this is a new thing, it's a persona. What did you want to do with John 5? I mean, you've kept it for the last, almost 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Longer. Yeah.
I
What do you want to do? Yeah, because that's a weird thing to come into, where there's these larger than life characters and there's all of this stuff. And obviously you spent 6 years in that. What did you kind of get the sense of, and what did you want to do with that character?
all I wanted to do, and I'm being completely honest, all I wanted to do was inspire.
Yeah.
If I could just inspire one person, two people to play guitar and to go, oh, wow, that's what I want to do. That's all I wanted to do and still want to do is
Yeah.
inspire. And it's so important because inspiration is something you cannot buy. It doesn't matter how much money you have, you cannot buy inspiration. It is something that happens to you, but it will change your life forever, forever and ever and ever, just like certain things inspired me and changed my life. It's an epiphany. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to hopefully play guitar well enough to inspire people to do that for
Yeah.
their life in a positive way.
Well, it's sometimes I feel like there's something magical about guitar that kind of feels like you're up to no good in the best way. Like you feel like you're in a car chase, and there's something really energetic and wild. And you play dark music. There's something very wonderful and great about playing dark ass music. There's something kind of,
Yes,
yeah. When did you
of
fall in love with
course.
dark music? Because you could have gone down any path, and you've gone down like this wonderful, dark, twisted path. Like Zombie World is
Yeah,
a dark, twisted
it's
world. Like
it's
why
true.
here?
Because I grew up so sheltered. I grew up in a very, 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 very nice neighborhood. Everything was perfect. Everybody was, had to go to Harvard. Everyone had to go to Yale. And then, even like when I was in elementary school, it was like, our elementary school looks like a college. I mean, it looks like a college from 200 years ago. Everything was so nice. And then I would see things like the Rolling Stones and like this, and then Sabbath, and then of course Kiss, and anything dark. And because it was so foreign to me, because I was never exposed to anything like that,
Yeah.
ever. And my brain was like a sponge. So I was so exposed to the dark side of things because it was so taboo, if you will. It was so unorthodox. And that's why I was always so interested in it.
Yeah.
And, but, I am someone that will save bees drowning in my pool, and I'll stay out there for 20 minutes trying to save all the bees from drowning outside of my pool. But
Yeah.
I still was so interested in the dark side because it is so foreign to me.
And it's yeah. What do you think of the people who are fans of your music? Because I mean, that they must be foreign to you on some level, although they must be kind of like kin by now. You've been playing in crazy heavy bands for decades. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it
I
nuts?
try to I try to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
And listen, I don't want to hear myself talk. I want to hear those people talk, and I want to hear your story. I want to hear, because it's so funny. Everybody has a story. And that's what's so interesting to me. If I meet somebody, and they ask me this or that, and I'll answer them. And I'm like, but then I'll say, oh, well, what about you? Because I want to know. Like, I'll see all these cars on the freeway and I'll think all these people have a story, and they have tragedy and they have happiness and everything. And it's just interesting to me.
Yeah.
It's like a quick little documentary on that person.
Yeah. You're an absorber. You
Yeah,
absorb.
it's
You absorb.
it's interesting. It's
Yeah.
really interesting,
But you're a part of the human experiment, and I feel like you've engaged in it in a good way. Like,
Yeah.
so, well, what are you doing with your solo album? It's mysterious and it's exciting, and it's your first one in a couple of years. What is this strange era of a very strange chapter in humanity produced for you in terms of what you're
Oh
doing?
my God. I took I took a horrible situation and tried to make it in a positive way for myself, and just make a cool record that I really liked. And I've been making instrumental records for a long time.
Mm.
And I always knew it was a hard sell. It's instrumental music,
Yeah.
and but people really, really enjoy this music, and they come to the shows, and it's all these different kinds of music, and it's this crazy show.
Yeah.
And with this new record, I just did that, and I spent so much time, more time than I did on any other record, because I had nothing else to do. So just I probably made the record 3 times just to make it so perfect.
Awesome.
And I'm I'm so proud of it.
Killer,
I'm
dude.
so happy, and I can't wait for it to come out. It's going to come out on Halloween.
Oh, of
And
course. Every day's
and
Halloween.
yeah, and we have Dave Mustaine on the first single. He's doing a little vocal sample,
That's
and
wild.
we have Peter Criss playing drums on a song called Georgia on My Mind, the old Ray Charles song. And I'm just so excited for this record. I can't tell you, it's just going to be, I'm like a kid in the candy store, and I leave for tour in 5 days. So
Wow.
I'm super excited. Yeah.
That's so you're about to share it with the world. Is this the first you're about to have in 5 days? You'll have the first show playing these songs to people.
Yeah, not all the songs, but I'm gonna,
Yeah.
play a few of them, just to play them.
Little,
Yeah, because why not?
yeah.
And if people record the show, I'm the kind of guy that promotes people to record. Take your phone out if you want, take it out, record. And I like that, because sometimes there's people in different countries that can't come to the show, or they're bedridden, they can't come to the show. So I'm like, hey, record it, make
Yeah.
sure the audio's good. And so yeah, you'll probably be hearing it soon.
That's well, I probably won't. Oh, I mean, from the phone record. Yeah. Well, we've had a year and a half of no American rock and roll. It's been really sad. Australia is I can't wait. We're first plane out. We gotta come back. Like, you guys gotta come back here, and it's a whole thing. If it was a film, what would be the film? What would be the vibe of the film if this record was a film?
It would be, God, what a great question. It would probably be like a soundtrack for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's country music in it, and there's really heavy music, and I think that's a perfect description, and it would fit. It would totally fit.
Well, those guys lived hard. Those outlaw country dudes, they lived hard. Like,
Oh my God.
like,
yeah, really hard.
Yeah, they make you like the 90s and the 2000s and the 21st century rock stars. You guys are living clean and nice compared to the way those guys did it.
Absolutely.
Who's your favorite character from that time? Like, who's your favorite?
I would say, there was a TV show here called Hee Haw, and I absolutely loved it. I would say Chet Atkins, and there's a Joe Mayfis, and there's all these country guys that I just have inspired me so much. It's changed my life completely.
There's a lot
And
of heart and soul in that stuff. There's a lot of heart and soul.
oh my God,
Genuinely.
it's incredible. And the people were just, incredible on their instruments, just
Yeah.
beyond incredible. So they really inspired me a lot.
Awesome. Okay, so we're doing a new thing in every show, which is the 5 songs that changed your life.
Okay,
What are they?
let's see. Number 5, I would say there's a boy, that's a really good question to get on the spot.
Yeah,
There's a song
because
called
it is, because it's what comes
yeah,
to me now. Like I could prep you, but I kind of like it when you like, bam.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would say there's a song called Jerry's Breakdown. It's this country song that like blew my mind, when I was a little kid. It's by Jerry Reed. And then number 4, I would probably say, I would say I Stole Your Love, because that was the first Kiss song I ever heard. I would say for number 3, I'd say, let's see, Far Beyond the Sun by Yngwie Malmsteen. Totally changed my life. I would say, yeah.
That was an
Let's
impression of
see.
him.
I love Yngwie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then I would have to say, what else was really changed my life? Boy, it's tough. I'd say Eruption,
Yep.
number 2. And well, maybe that's my number 1, Eruption, because it just blew my mind. And probably number 2, Crazy Train.
Yeah. Also, yeah. That's a solid list.
Yeah.
We're building in this like monster playlist of everyone's 5 songs, and it's quite interesting because it's like a little chapter into people's lives, into everyone's life. So it's really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's those songs just really changed my life. They were totally game changers for me.
Oh, that's beautiful. So I guess
Yes.
you've got a lot on. What's happening in the zombie camp these days?
We released our record. We're doing shows. We're going to start doing some more shows next month. And we just keep plugging along. And Rob's making the Monsters movie. And
Of course he is.
Yeah. So it's wonderful. Life is good. I can't complain.
Dude, you're living well. Like, you're doing life right. Like no one would say,
I can't complain.
Yeah, why is Rob Zombie called Rob Zombie? This is a really weird side note. I mean, it might be just obvious, but I don't know. Is there a story there? That might go back.
He changed his name. His legal name is Rob Zombie.
Awesome.
And so it's great. It's a great name.
Well, yeah. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you very much.
It's been a really fun time, and I am mind blown by what you've surrounded yourself with. I think you should let them in the room, though it might be an overwhelming thing. I would definitely like to be there to see their faces. That would be quite an experience. But keep being inspiring, dude.